In this video, I'm going to provide a guide to the Four Seasons Hotels interview process and show you the most common questions and how to answer them. So let's look at what you need to pass a Four Seasons interview. So the first thing is you need to take the interview seriously. Four Seasons are famous for having a tough interview and recruitment process, and to be successful, you have to show what they're looking for. Make sure you adopt professional dress. You are applying to a high-class, expensive, upmarket hotel, and they expect you to turn up perfectly dressed for that. You need to study the Four Seasons business and its history, and I will share with you the key facts that you need to take to your interview to be well prepared. You need to prove that you are what Four Seasons are looking for, and the phrase that they use inside the company is that they recruit for a 5-star attitude. That is what you're trying to demonstrate. You have to show that you can add value to their business. So if they hire you, you're going to make their company better, you're going to provide excellent service, and you're going to be an asset to the business. And that is what you're trying to show off in your interview. You need to know the questions to expect in an interview and have answers ready to go. So by the end of this video, you will know the most common questions and you will have prepared, thought out answers that mean when you go to your interview, you'll be so much more confident, your answers will be much stronger, and you'll score much more highly, and then your chance of getting the job are going to be much higher. So one of the most important questions is, what can you tell me about the Four Seasons? And they expect people coming for an interview at the Four Seasons to know about the business. So let's look at some facts and phrases that you can use in your interview. So the first thing you can do is describe it as an upmarket hotel chain. They offer unparalleled luxury. They are a hotel management business, and they're aiming to deliver reliable and consistent service. So it doesn't matter which city around the world you're staying in, you're going to expect a reliable and consistently high standard at every Four Seasons all over the world. They are, of course, known for their outstanding service, and most interestingly, at present and probably in the future, the Four Seasons don't own real estate. They don't actually own the hotels. The hotels are usually built by another company who own the real estate, and then Four Seasons come in and manage that under their brand and take care of all of the running of the hotel. So they can actually expand their business without having to tie up billions of dollars in real estate, but can expand by taking on management of existing real estate or purpose-built real estate. They were founded all the way back in 1961 by Isidore Sharp, and they started as the Four Seasons Motor Hotel. The business is based on the golden rule, around the idea of if you treat people well, they will treat you well. So the golden rule is do to others as you would like them to do to you. That is the golden rule that permeates their business, and it's a good idea to read up about the golden rule and how that works at the Four Seasons. They are also slightly well known for being the first ever to offer hotel Wi-Fi, high-speed Wi-Fi, all the way back in 1997. So this is an innovative company that's trying to be at the forefront of advances. They are headquartered in Canada. They've expanded to offer private retreats and residences as another business line recently. The company is currently controlled by Bill Gates through his Cascade Investments, and it's a good idea to memorize the current hotel numbers. Of course, that changes over time, so look up how many hotels they have and memorize that number and include that as part of your answer. A really good, quick way to get a good feeling for how the company describes itself, how it talks about itself internally, and how it thinks about itself is to read the Four Seasons About Us page that's regularly updated. It'll give you a good overview of the history and the current thinking about how the business is operating and the way that they market and present themselves to keep up to date. So take all those facts to your interview, read that page, and you will be well prepared for this. Just make sure that you've taken some time to have some basic notes and you've memorized the key facts, and you'll be able to storm through this question confidently. The next question they sometimes ask is, tell me how you would deal with a guest complaint. And in these sort of questions, they're looking for reassurance that you're going to do the right thing. So for a complaint, the first thing you say is that I take all guest complaints very seriously, because that is what the guest expects. You say then, I show genuine interest in understanding the guest's issues and listen attentively. When a guest is stopping you and wanting to make a complaint, the thing that they want most is someone to actually listen to them and take them seriously. The next thing you say is very important to me, to always provide an excellent experience to all guests. You're showing the values that Four Seasons want, that 5-star attitude, that you really care deeply about providing a great experience. And that is what they want in all of their staff. You then say, I work proactively to resolve any issues or complaints to the client's satisfaction. So you're trying to be part of the solution. The next thing you can mention is, I like to use the herd technique as a general guide to managing complaints effectively. And in the interview, you can discuss the steps in the herd process. So that is to hear the guest complaint, to empathize with them, be genuine in that empathy, apology if that is appropriate, resolve it to actually fix it, and then diagnose what was it that caused that complaint. What did we do wrong? What could we do immediately that fixes that problem and stops that ever being a problem ever again? What you never want to hear said in a hotel or in a hospitality business is, guests are always complaining about this. Well, why are they always complaining? They shouldn't always be complaining about something. If they're always complaining about it, why haven't you fixed it? For example, guests are always complaining about that door squeaking. Well, why don't you just have that door oiled and then it doesn't squeak, and then they won't always be complaining about it? So the diagnose is an important part, where if you're getting a guest complaint, you might want to talk to management and say, I've noticed that I've got a complaint from a guest about this. Could we look at doing this? Or would you be able to help to resolve this so that it doesn't cause problems in future? And then the last thing that you can do to really make your answer nice and strong and confident, if you've got some experience, say, given my previous experience, I'm confident in my ability to deal with the occasional complaints that will happen here. So you've worked in this industry before, you've dealt with complaints, just be really confident. I can deal with these. I've done it for years. And that's a nice, confident way to end your answer. The next question you want to be ready for is something around, can you work evenings, weekends, overnight? Sometimes they ask this sort of thing. And remember, if they have put this question into their list for the interview, it's because it's important to them. If they have decided to ask about a specific time, they're expecting an answer of yes, otherwise they wouldn't have asked this question. So the ideal answer is, I fully understand that working these hours is essential to the smooth running of a hotel. I'm, of course, happy to work these hours, including these as part of my role. So basically saying yes in a polite and direct way. If you couldn't work those hours, or you can't work those hours, of course, you're going to have to say no. But do realize that saying no to hours that they're specifically asking for in an interview could harm your chances of being hired. The next question is, why do you want to work at Four Seasons? And you really need to have an answer ready for this. You don't want to try and make this up on the spot, because your answer is not going to be very good. So I would recommend bullet pointing, or even just writing out a whole answer, practicing it a few times. Don't just memorize it word for word, but just have a good idea of the sort of things that you're going to be talking about, and you will have a much stronger answer. This is your chance, not just to say, I'd like to work here because I think it'll pay very well and it'll be a fun job. That's not what they're looking for. This is your chance to actually show them that you are the right person to hire. So say things like, it's the right hotel brand, and think about why the Four Seasons. Why not work at the Marriott? Why not work at Hilton? Why is this the best hotel brand for you? Talk about how it matches your experience. Think about your role. If you've got experience working in upmarket hotels, or in luxury, or say in retail, which is a more expensive price point, luxury retail, for example, that would be relevant experience and could show that this is the right hotel for you. Link everything to your previous experience and also to the job in Four Seasons. Think about career opportunities. You're applying to a big brand that has lots and lots of hotels all over the world, and there is a large hotel. It's not a little small hotel. There is going to be more opportunities here. And then show genuine enthusiasm. So let's look at some things you can mention. So the phrase, this is the best hotel brand for me, is a nice, confident, strong phrase. Think about why it's the best one for you. Talk about that you love working with customers, you love interacting with guests, that you like meeting lots of new people in the job, that you feel that this is somewhere that you can provide excellent service, that the Four Seasons value service very highly. They provide outstanding, excellent training and induction to their staff. And this is somewhere that you're confident that you can provide the excellent service that you always strive to do, that it's a perfect match for your skills. If you've got lots of experience, use the phrase, I've got extensive hotel and hospitality experience. So this is a great place to use that experience. That you've got experience working in luxury, that you enjoy working in a team, that you see that there is exciting long-term career potential here, and that this is an opportunity to work for a large and diverse organization. So list all of these that you feel would be relevant to you and you could talk about, and have a bullet pointed list planned out for why you want to work here. This question comes up in almost every interview, so it's really important to have something ready to go, and this will help you plan out an answer. Another question they quite like is, what are your biggest strengths? So for the strengths, you want to think about your actual role. So if you're applying for a housekeeping role or a management role or a role working in the cooking, you're going to say something very, very, very different. You ought to pick highly relevant strengths. You ought to be confident in your answer, and you ought to link it to 4 seasons. So when you say your strength, explain how your strength's going to make you good at the job. So let's think about some strengths that you might want to use. So some ideas for a 4 seasons interview could be extensive hospitality experience. One of your biggest strengths is that you've done this for a long time. You've got experience. You've seen everything. You may speak more than one language. Think about where the hotel is. What languages do people visiting that hotel speak? So if you are perfectly fluent in English and fluent in a home language that is used a lot by guests staying in that hotel, that's a great thing to offer. Hotels always want to hire staff that speak multiple languages because it aids in providing excellent service, that you're highly reliable, that they can rely on you at all times, that you're calm in a crisis, that you're hardworking, you're proactive, and you've got great attention to detail. So in a lot of roles, having attention to detail is important, that you've got those high standards, that you stick to those high standards, and that you spot any little thing that's detracting from those high standards, maintaining that really, really good service and that really good attention to detail. So pick maybe 3 from that list, or think up at least 3 of your biggest strengths. Talk about those and explain how they're going to make you great at 4 seasons, and you're going to have a strong answer to that. Then we can look at another question, which is, what salary do you expect? And this one you've got to be careful of, and you don't really want to get into a hard negotiation, because all that's going to happen is you're going to basically explain that you're too expensive, or you're going to suggest that you're willing to accept a salary that is much lower than they had in mind, and that's not to your benefit. So now really isn't the best time to negotiate. When they decide that you're a great hire and they would really like to hire you and they're really impressed with your interview, and you have shown them that you are great, then now is the time to start negotiating. When you know that they want you, now is the time to negotiate. So you got to stay away from exact numbers. You got to consider how compelling your offer is. So if you're highly experienced, highly competent, you're going to be thinking towards the higher end of a range of salaries. If you're brand new and this is your first ever job in the hospitality industry and you don't have any impressive qualifications that might make you stand out, then you're going to be probably thinking towards the lower end of that range. You want to research typical salaries, so look on places like Glassdoor, maybe speak to people you know that work there, get an idea of what sort of salaries are available and find out as much as you can. Check the job advertisement, so the ad that you applied for, did it give any indication, and what are similar roles paying? And then if you have to answer it, you have to say something along the lines of, I'd be interested in a salary between, and say a reasonable range that you would be interested in. And then hopefully if they make you an offer, then you can start negotiating towards the higher end of that range. Or you can say, if they've put it on the job advertisement already, you can basically say that that range is competitive and that that is within the range that you are interested in. Of course, if they advertise a salary which was too low, then you're wondering why you applied for that role. So if they give you a range on the advert and that's acceptable to you, it's a perfectly decent answer to say that the salary range on the advertisement is competitive with what you would expect. So that's how you survive that question, and try as best as possible not to give an exact number, because that might be the wrong number. Negotiate once you get a job offer is the ideal situation. Before you finish, you think about at the end of the interview, they'll say, do you have any questions for us or do you have anything you'd like to ask us? And here's my suggestions of things you might want to ask. So you could say, in your experience, what do you enjoy most about working at this Four Seasons hotel? And share in their enthusiasm and be really interested in what they have to say and agree with them. You could say, what are your main priorities to maintain and enhance service standards at this Four Seasons? And how could I contribute towards achieving these and make commitments to actually helping the management deliver on their goals? You can ask what training, development, and induction is available to new hires when starting with the Four Seasons. Show a great interest in that and that you care about your training and development. You could then say, could you tell me more about the team you've developed at this Four Seasons hotel and how my role would fit in? Or if you're ambitious, what training, progression, and professional development opportunities could there be for a high performer here in my role over the next 3 to 5 years? Things that you don't ask about is don't ask about time off. Don't ask about delaying your start date. Don't try and negotiate your salary now. Wait until hopefully you get an offer. And don't talk about transferring to another hotel or another location because that's not what they're looking for. So I hope this video was helpful to you. If it was, please like and subscribe below. And I wish you the best of luck in your Four Seasons interview. Thank you very much for watching.